My mom stole my college savings, ghosted me for years, then demanded $2,000 for my stepsister's luxury dorm like nothing happened. Let me give you some context because, without it, you're probably thinking, what's the big deal? It's family. Well, this isn't just any family. My mom married my stepdad when I was 16, and from day one it was obvious the dude had zero interest in me. He's got 2 kids, Ashley and Parker. Ashley's 17 now and Parker's 14. They've been the golden children from the moment they showed up. My mom practically acted like I disappeared when she married him. I get that blending families can be tough, but she didn't even try. I remember when I graduated high school, my grandparents gave me $2,000 as a gift. I was over the moon, thinking I could use it for college or, just live a little. I'd also saved up another $2,000 from working part-time jobs after school, so I thought I was sitting pretty with $4,000 in my account. Then one day, I check my balance, and it's all gone, every single penny. I go to my mom, thinking there's got to be some mistake. She's still a co-owner on my account at that point, because I hadn't gotten around to switching it over yet. And you know what she says? She looks me dead in the eye, and tells me she took it as punishment. Punishment for not respecting her new husband and his kids, and for acting out or whatever garbage excuse she came up with at the time. I was furious. I'd been saving that money for college, for my future, and she just took it like it was no big deal. So I packed my bags and moved in with my grandparents. They were the only ones who seemed to give a damn about me anyway. That was pretty much it for my relationship with my mom, minimal contact from there on out. Fast forward a few years, and now I've graduated from college, trying to get my life together. Then, boom, she calls me today, asking for $2,000 to help pay for Ashley's dorm fees. Apparently Ashley needs this private dorm room because sharing with other people would be too much. Like, who even needs a private dorm at 17? Whatever happened to just sticking it out with a roommate like the rest of us? So I tell her, no way in hell. I'm not going to just hand over money, especially after what you did. And you know what she says? You can't say no. We're family. You have to help. Like, are you serious? She doesn't even ask how I'm doing or acknowledge that we haven't spoken in months. Just straight to the money talk, like I'm an ATM. I hung up on her after that. I wasn't about to listen to any more of her guilt tripping. But man, let me tell you, the level of entitlement was unreal. I mean, I haven't been a part of her life for years. She's been all about her new family with my stepdad and his kids. Meanwhile, I've been out here hustling on my own, trying to make something of myself. And now she thinks I should just hand over thousands of dollars like nothing ever happened? Nope, not happening. Let's be real for a second. This isn't the first time she's pulled something like this. The moment my stepdad entered the picture, I was practically invisible. My mom would bend over backward for him and his kids while I was just there. Like a piece of furniture that no one really notices anymore. It's not like she was ever terrible to me growing up, but the second she got married, it was like I didn't exist. She stopped showing up to my school events, stopped asking how I was doing, just stopped caring. I remember one Christmas, this was after I moved in with my grandparents. She didn't even bother inviting me over. But guess what? She sent a card with a note saying, "Hope you're doing well. Love, Mom." That was it. No mention of missing me, no apology for everything that had gone down, just a generic card. It was like she was more interested in keeping up appearances than actually being a mom. And now she has the audacity to call me up out of nowhere, asking for money for my stepsister's dorm after everything she did? Nah man, not a chance. I wasn't even tempted. I don't owe them anything. Not after all the crap I had to deal with growing up, and certainly not after she stole my savings and left me hanging. It's honestly kind of sad though. I used to want a relationship with her back when I was younger. I tried for a while, reaching out, seeing if we could maybe work things out. But every time, it was like talking to a brick wall. She was so wrapped up in her new family that she didn't have time for me anymore. And now, after years of silence, she just expects me to cough up $2,000 like we're close or something? I guess I shouldn't be surprised. People like that never change. They just take and take, thinking they're entitled to whatever you have. But I've learned my lesson. I'm not the same kid who let her walk all over me anymore. I've moved on. I've got my own life now. And I'm not going to let her or her messed up sense of family guilt me into paying for anything. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I blocked her on everything after that last call, And honestly, it feels like a huge weight has been lifted. I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. And if she tries reaching out again, well, she's in for a rude awakening because I'm done playing the nice guy. At the end of the day, you can only get pushed around so much before you say enough is enough. I'm done being the backup plan, the one who gets called when they need something. They can figure it out without me. Update 1. Alright, so after I hung up on my mom the first time, I thought maybe, just maybe, she'd get the hint. Like, I wasn't going to magically hand over money just because she asked, right? Wrong. A few days later, I'm sitting at my place, trying to enjoy my weekend, when my phone rings again. Guess who? Yep, it's my mom. Now, I didn't want to answer at first. I mean, what good was going to come from this? But for whatever reason, I decided to pick up. Maybe I was hoping she'd apologize. Or at least have a normal conversation. Spoiler alert, she didn't. She starts off with, "Listen, I talked to your stepdad, and we came up with a new arrangement, like she's doing me a favor or something." She goes on to explain that Ashley absolutely needs a private dorm room because sharing with other people would be uncomfortable. Apparently, communal bathrooms and roommates are beneath her, so they've decided that Ashley will stay in this fancy 2-bedroom dorm with her own bathroom. And guess who they want to pay for it? Yup, me again. I almost laughed out loud. The total cost for this luxury dorm situation is $30,800 for the semester, and they expect me to pay $1,000 a month to help cover it. $1,000 per month for a dorm room I'll never see, for a stepsister who barely acknowledges my existence. Unreal, right? I asked her straight up, why is this even my problem? That's when she flipped into full guilt mode. She starts saying things like, "You never contributed anything to this family, and it's time you give back and erase your mistakes." Mistakes? What mistakes? I haven't even done anything to them. Then she brings up how I've been living off my grandparents, like I'm some kind of freeloader. First of all, my grandparents invited me to live with them. They were happy to help me get on my feet after everything she did, but in her mind, it's like I owe her for every little thing she's ever done for me. Even though it was barely anything compared to what she did for her new family. She kept going, talking about how I owe them for not being a part of the family anymore. Like, that's my fault. They're the ones who pushed me out. They're the ones who made me feel like I didn't belong, and now she's trying to make me feel guilty for leaving that toxic mess behind? Yeah, no thanks. At this point, I could feel my blood boiling, but instead of letting her drag me down into some emotional pit, I hit her with a question. I asked, "When are you planning to give me back the $4,000 you stole from me in high school?" The moment I said that, she lost it. She starts screaming at me, calling me selfish and ungrateful. She's like, "I did everything for you, and this is how you repay me? By throwing the past in my face?" I told her straight up, "You never apologized for taking that money, you never even acknowledged it. If anyone owes anything here, it's you." But she wasn't listening. She was too busy shouting about how I've abandoned the family and how I'm ruining Ashley's future by refusing to help. Apparently, her going to a public college with normal dorms would destroy her entire life. I'm sure she'll be just fine. The thing is, she's not even asking for help, she's demanding it. There's no please or could you help us out? It's all about what I'm expected to do. Like it's my responsibility to clean up their mess. And don't even get me started on how Ashley is acting like she's too good for a normal dorm experience. Meanwhile, I went through college sharing a tiny room with a complete stranger, and I survived just fine. I was done at this point. I told her, "Look, I'm not giving you a dime, you can figure it out without me." Then I hung up again. It felt like déjà vu, but worse. I was shaking with anger, not because of the money, but because of the entitlement, the complete lack of respect for me, my life, and the boundaries I've tried to set. But even though I hung up, I knew this wasn't the end. My mom's stubborn like that. She's always been the type to keep pushing until she gets what she wants, and I had a feeling she wasn't going to let this go. And sure enough, later that night, she sends me this long text. It's a whole essay about how I'm tearing the family apart, and how I need to step up now that I'm earning money. She keeps saying how I need to pay for my sins and start contributing to the family again, like I'm some kind of prodigal child. It was honestly laughable. The way she twisted everything to make me the bad guy was almost impressive, but I wasn't falling for it. I've dealt with this manipulation for years, and I wasn't about to let her guilt trip me into paying for something that has nothing to do with me. So I blocked her on everything: phone, social media, email, everything. I just couldn't take it anymore. I didn't want to wake up every day wondering when the next guilt trip was going to hit. Blocking her felt like the only way to get some peace. And here's the thing: blocking her was hard. As much as I want to say I don't care about her or what she thinks, part of me does. Part of me still wishes things could have been different, that maybe one day she'd actually care about me as her kid, instead of seeing me as a walking bank account. But I know that's not going to happen. She's made her choice, and I've made mine. I still can't believe the nerve of her, though. After everything that's happened, after she basically erased me from her life for her new family, she expects me to pay for her stepdaughter's luxury dorm? Nah, I'm not letting her drag me back into that mess. At this point, I'm focusing on moving forward. I've got my own life to live, and I'm not going to let her or anyone else hold me back. I'm done with the drama, done with the guilt trips, and done with being the backup for when her new family doesn't have the cash to cover their own expenses. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't know if she'll try to reach out again, but if she does, she's going to find out real quick that I'm not playing along anymore. I've got better things to focus on than paying for someone else's spoiled kid to live in a fancy dorm. Update 2. So after the whole showdown with my mom outside my apartment, I figured things were finally over. I made it clear I wasn't giving her money, and we had our final blowout. That's it, right? Done. But of course with my mom, nothing's ever that easy. I should have known she wasn't just going to drop it. About a week after that confrontation, I get a call from a number I didn't recognize. Now usually, I don't answer unknown numbers, but for whatever reason, I picked this one up. The moment I heard his voice, I knew who it was. My stepdad, Richard. I hadn't heard from him directly in years. I thought maybe he was calling to smooth things over, but nope, he was just as pissed as my mom. Right off the bat, he says, "So I heard you've been disrespecting your mother." Like, no greeting, no nothing, just straight to accusing me of disrespect. I could feel my jaw clenching. I wanted to hang up, but I was curious to see where this was going. "Disrespect?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. "I'm not disrespecting her. I'm just not giving her money." He let out this sarcastic laugh, and I could practically hear him rolling his eyes through the phone. "You think this is about the money? This is about family. You've abandoned your family, and now you won't even help Ashley when she needs it. Here we go again." I could feel my patience slipping. "Look, I didn't abandon anyone. You guys pushed me out years ago, and Ashley's not my responsibility." There was a pause, and I thought maybe that would shut him up, but of course it didn't. "You're selfish," he said, his voice dripping with judgment. "We've done everything for you, and this is how you repay us? By turning your back on your mother, on Ashley?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Everything for me? They stole from me, ignored me, and then expected me to play happy family when it was convenient for them. I wasn't having it. "You didn't do anything for me. You took from me. My mom took my savings, and you both treated me like I didn't exist once you had your perfect little family. Now suddenly, I'm supposed to be the one who fixes everything?" He cut me off before I could finish. "You're not a kid anymore. It's time to stop acting like one. You need to grow up and understand that family means sacrifice. You owe this family." That word "owe" really set me off. I didn't owe them a damn thing. "No, Richard, I don't owe you anything. If anyone owes something, it's you two for treating me like crap for years." I could hear him getting angrier on the other end. But I didn't care. I was done playing nice. I wasn't the same scared teenager who let them walk all over me. "This isn't over," he said, his voice low and threatening, like he thought he could scare me into changing my mind. "We're family, and we'll always be family, whether you like it or not." I didn't bother responding. I just hung up, and as soon as I did, I felt this wave of relief. It was like I had finally closed the door on something toxic. I had drawn a line, and there was no going back now. But of course that wasn't the last of it. A few days after that call, I got a text from Ashley. Yep, even she was getting in on this now. Her text wasn't as aggressive as my mom's or Richard's, but it was still full of guilt tripping. It said something like, "Hey, I know things have been tense, but I really need help with this dorm situation. I don't know why you're being so difficult about it. It's just money, and it's not like you can't afford it." I stared at the message for a good minute, just shaking my head. It's just money. The entitlement was unreal. She genuinely thought I owed her this, like it was just expected, like I was some rich uncle who's supposed to pay for everything just because I can. I thought about replying, but honestly, what was the point? She wasn't going to listen. None of them were. They all lived in their own little world where I was the bad guy for not playing along. So I just deleted the message and blocked her too. It was clear that no matter what I did, they weren't going to see things my way. To them, family was a one-way street. I was expected to give while they took, and never gave anything back, and when I didn't give them what they wanted, I was the villain. But here's the thing, they weren't my family anymore, not really. Family is supposed to be about support, love, and mutual respect. They had none of that for me. I was just a tool to them, someone they could manipulate and guilt into giving them what they wanted. And yeah, it hurt. I'm not going to pretend it didn't. There was a time when I would have done anything to get their approval, to feel like I was a part of the family again. But that time had passed. I wasn't that kid anymore, desperate for their love. I had built my own life, and I didn't need their approval or their validation. In the days that followed, I found myself thinking a lot about what family really meant. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that family is everything, that blood is thicker than water and all that crap. But sometimes, the people who share your DNA are the ones who hurt you the most. And when that happens, you have to make a choice. Do you keep letting them hurt you because they're family? Or do you cut ties and move on, even if it means walking away from the people who are supposed to love you unconditionally? I chose to walk away, and yeah, it wasn't easy, but it was the right choice for me. I wasn't going to let them drag me down anymore. I wasn't going to let them use me. That night, as I lay in bed, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time, peace. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was walking on eggshells, waiting for the next call, the next guilt trip, the next demand for money. I was free, and honestly, it felt damn good. Update 3. Alright, so after everything that went down with my mom, Richard, and even Ashley, I thought, this is it. They've got to be done with me by now. But surprise, they weren't. These people just don't know when to quit. I had blocked my mom, blocked Richard, blocked Ashley. Basically cut them all out of my life. I thought I was free, and for a bit, I was. A couple of weeks went by without any drama, and I was finally starting to relax. I wasn't constantly looking over my shoulder, wondering when the next guilt trip or demand for money was going to drop. Things felt normal for the first time in a long time. I was focusing on work, seeing friends, just living my life. You know, the stuff you're supposed to do when you're not constantly dealing with toxic family members. Then one day, I get home from work, and there's a letter waiting for me in my mailbox. No return address, just my name on the front. Now I'm thinking, who the hell still sends letters? I almost didn't even open it, but something about it felt off, so I did. And guess what? It's from my mom. Not a card, not an apology, not even a normal letter. No, it's a freaking legal notice. She's threatening to take me to court over, what you ask? Over family obligations. Apparently, in her mind, I'm financially responsible for helping Ashley with her college expenses. She's trying to frame it like some kind of legal duty, like I'm required by law to pay for Ashley's dorm fees because we're family. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I mean, who does this? Who goes from begging for money to literally trying to sue their own kid? It was absurd. I actually laughed out loud, standing there in my living room, holding this ridiculous letter. It was so over the top that it felt like a joke, but it wasn't. She had actually gone to a lawyer and had them draft this whole thing up, trying to claim that I had some kind of financial obligation to Ashley because I was doing well and she needed help. There was all this language about how family must support family and how I was morally obligated to step in given my success. Success? I'm 23, fresh out of college, trying to pay rent and figure out my own life, and she's talking about success like I'm sitting on piles of cash. The reality is, I'm just getting by like everyone else. But even if I were loaded, that still wouldn't mean I owe them anything, especially not after the way they've treated me. I didn't waste any time. I called my grandparents, who of course were just as shocked as I was. My grandma actually gasped when I told her what was going on. My grandpa, though, he was pissed. I could hear it in his voice, that quiet anger where you know someone's about to explode. They've lost their damn minds, he said. Don't you worry about a thing. We're going to get this sorted out. He wasn't kidding. My grandparents immediately got in touch with a lawyer friend of theirs to look into the whole thing. Within a couple of days, I had a meeting set up with the lawyer, who assured me that this whole case was a joke. There was no legal basis for what my mom was trying to do. Apparently, family guilt trips don't hold up in court. But still, it was stressful. Even knowing that I was in the clear, the fact that my mom would go to these lengths just to get money out of me was mind-blowing. I knew she was manipulative, but this was next-level crazy. The day after I met with the lawyer, I got another letter. This time an actual letter, handwritten by my mom. It was like a last-ditch effort to win me over. The tone was completely different from the legal notice. In this one, she was playing the victim, saying things like, "I never wanted it to come to this, and I just need you to understand how much we need your help." She even threw in the classic, "I'm still your mother, and I love you no matter what" line, like that was supposed to make me forget everything she had done. It was honestly pathetic. The switch from threatening me with legal action to begging for forgiveness was so transparent. It was clear she didn't care about me, she just cared about what I could give her. I didn't bother responding. I didn't even finish reading the letter. I crumpled it up and tossed it in the trash. At that point, I was just done. Like, truly done. I had already cut them out of my life, but this whole court threat took it to a level where there was no coming back from. I wasn't going to give her another chance to manipulate me, or drag me into more drama. It was time to move on for good. The lawyer helped me get everything sorted out. It didn't take long for them to send a formal response, basically telling my mom to back off and that her case was a joke. A few days later, I got word that she had dropped the whole thing. No surprise there. She probably realized she wasn't going to win, and didn't want to waste more money on a case that was going nowhere. After that, things finally started to settle down. I haven't heard from my mom, Richard, or Ashley since, and honestly, it feels like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I spent so many years letting them control my life with their guilt trips and manipulation, and now, for the first time, I'm free. Really free. Looking back, I'm glad I stood my ground. It wasn't easy cutting off my own family, but it was the right thing to do. I deserve better than being treated like a backup plan, only useful when they needed something from me. Family is supposed to be about support and love, not just taking from each other whenever it's convenient. I've got a long way to go in figuring out my own life, but at least now I can do it without them constantly dragging me down. I don't know what the future holds, but I know one thing for sure: I'm never letting them back into my life, not after everything they've done. And yeah, it's sad. I wish things could have been different. But at the end of the day, you have to protect your peace. Sometimes that means walking away, even from the people who are supposed to love you the most. And that's okay. I'm moving forward, and I'm doing it on my terms.